Hey, as you see here, an old advertising poster for the Cosby Show. Well, I'm going to paraphrase what Deadline.com said. Shortly after comedian Bill Cosby was found guilty on 3 counts of aggravated indecent assault against Andrea Constant, BOUNCETV has moved in to scrub repeats of his classic 1980s sitcom. In a statement saying, effective immediately, Bounce is removing the Cosby Show from our schedule. And actually, they were one of the few that was even carrying it at all. They've been rerunning it since 2016, 2 years after the original accusations came up. The sitcom, once ubiquitous on broadcast stations and cable networks as evergreen syndicated programming, started disappearing from the airways when the accusations started in 2015. The series is currently still available for streaming on Amazon. It is unclear whether the SVOD platform will remove it from its lineup, and referring to Amazon. And this is not so much an accusation on Bounce. Some will call them cowards or whatnot, but gotta remember something. At the end of the day, they're a business, and they have to do what's best for their business. I mean, you can write and complain to the network, but at the end of the day, they're going to do what they think is best for their business. And also, I bet you Bounce is probably owned by a bigger company. So that order probably came from higher up. But here's my thing. If you're going to do this to Bill Cosby, why is Seventh Heaven still reran? Why is anything involving Woody Allen still ran? Why is anything connected to Harvey Weinstein still shown on the air? Why is any music by R. Kelly still being played? I'm just saying, this is a slippery slope, Hollywood. You got a slew of guys why is The Apprentice? I'm sure it's reruns in some places. Why is The Apprentice still reran? You got a slew of guys in Hollywood, and some gals too. Oh, and speaking of gals, why isn't Smallville being pulled? Then Allison Mack, who used to play Chloe, was just recently accused of being part of a sex cult that was abusing and trying to recruit or force recruitment on people. If their shows are not pulled, then something's up. And people say, well, Bill Cosby was actually found guilty. So what's the stop? Let's say Steve. And for those that want to use the Stephen Collins thing about, well, the statute of limitations had elapsed. Well, it didn't stop him with Bill Cosby. And yeah, I know it was technically one day before the statute of limitations should have elapsed, but even with the statute of limitations, that shouldn't have even counted, because I say it in my other videos and I'll say it again. They accepted a civil judgment settlement on the same exact charges that he's being convicted on now. They accepted a civil settlement. In my opinion, they should not have even been able to go back and convict him. They should not have been able to even press criminal charges unless they found brand new evidence, which there was none as far as I know. Basically, you're giving power to the law to repeal. Now, if you want to repeal a law that you think is unjust, unfair, fine. But you do it legally. You vote on it. You create it, you pass it through Congress or whatever steps you have to take. You do it legally. This was an illegal trial. This verdict should not legally count. And I'm not saying Bill Cosby is not guilty. Not saying that at all. He might very well. But under your own laws in America, this trial should have never taken place. But getting back on point, if you're going to yank his show, there's a whole lot of shows and stuff. You see, you're going down a slippery slope. And I've even had people, both black and white, even say, okay, the Cosby Show's being yanked, but why isn't Seventh Heaven being yanked? And it was like, what Stephen Collins did or was taped admitting to doing was far worse than what Cosby was accused of doing. Plus, he admitted it from his own lips. You want to talk confession? There's your confession. All Bill Cosby admitted to was using drugs for sex. They still, in my mind, did not prove that he gave it to these women unknowingly. They still haven't proved it. So, that's just my opinion on this. I mean, I wasn't that much of a big watcher of the Cosby Show in recent years anyway. But I think if you're going to yank his show, you're just going down a slippery slope, in my opinion. I understand it's business. You're doing what you got to do. And Bounce TV is basically a relatively young channel. I'm not going to tell nobody to boycott it or anything like that. Do what you think you need to do. If you feel like you need to boycott it, fine. If you're still going to watch Bounce for other programming, fine. But this is a slippery slope. Anyway, my opinion on it. Leave your comments down below. I'm out.